All right, let's get right into it. If you're a trader, I bet this sounds familiar. You've got a solid strategy. You know what you're supposed to do, but your results, they're still all over the map. So why is that? Today, we're going to break down a protocol that's all about moving from that inconsistent emotional trading to disciplined, professional-level execution. And this right here, this is the whole game. The big idea we're starting with is that your struggle probably isn't because you don't know enough. It's not a bad strategy. It's an interference problem. Your own mind, your emotions, your habits, they're getting in the way and they're sabotaging an edge that's likely already profitable. So where does all this self-sabotage actually happen? Well, it tends to pop up in what we can call the trader's vicious cycle. See, there are these specific market environments where even the sharpest traders can lose control if they don't have a concrete plan.
I mean, this slide probably looks painfully familiar, right? These are the absolute kill zones. That choppy, sideways price action, the slow, grinding drift, or just those days when you feel mentally fried. This is where amateurs just bleed out their accounts, while the pros know these are the exact signals to go into capital preservation mode.
Okay, so we've pinpointed where things go wrong, but now we've got to dig into the why. And that brings us right back to the real root of the problem, that internal interference that stops your edge from actually doing its job. And this is a total game changer and how you should think about your goals. You know, most traders are obsessed with jacking up their win rate, but what's crucial to understand is that your primary job isn't that. It's to decrease your emotional variance. Your strategy means nothing if one impulsive emotional trade completely wipes out the profits from 10 good ones. So what's the fix? Well, you've got to build a machine. You need to create a set of hard, non-negotiable rules. A mechanical filter that literally saves you from yourself when your logic and discipline start to fade. And here it is. This is your no-trade zone. Now, these aren't just, nice ideas. They're hard and fast rules. For instance, after 2 losses in a row, or even after a huge, euphoric win. And the master rule is super simple. If any 2 of these conditions are true for you at the same time, you are not allowed to place a trade. Period. End of story. Okay, all of this leads to a really simple but incredibly powerful idea, the traffic light system. First up, the green regime. This is your A-plus setup. It's prime time. The trend is crystal clear, your setups are firing, and there's volume to back it up. Here and only here are you allowed to trade your full normal size. Then you have the yellow regime. Think of this as your proceed with caution signal. The market's getting choppy, breakouts aren't following through, there's just a ton of uncertainty. Your protocol here is mechanical. You must cut your trade size in half, and you limit yourself to just 1 trade. It's not a choice, it's a rule you follow. And of course, that brings us to the red regime. This is your full stop. This is pure capital protection mode. Maybe you've hit your max loss for the day, or you just feel tilted and emotionally agitated. The only correct move here is to shut it down for the day. Walking away isn't quitting. It's professional risk management. Now, why do we need all these regimes? Well, it's to prevent the single biggest account killer out there, averaging into losing trades. This slide just lays out the 2 paths so clearly. The professional accepts small, predictable losses. It's just the cost of doing business. The amateur, on the other hand, avoids those small losses only to get hit with a rare but absolutely catastrophic one. And man, this is the destructive loop it traps you in. See how it works? You average down, and that turns a small, manageable loss into a disaster. That creates these huge, wild swings in your account, which then causes massive psychological stress. That stress glues you to the screen, which of course just leads to more bad, impulsive decisions. You have to break the cycle. Okay, so we've got the external rules down, but what about the battle inside your own head? That's where the next part comes in, building rituals for what we'll call market neutrality. This is all about actively reprogramming your mind to be detached and disciplined. This has to become your mantra. You need to drill this into your head every single morning. You're not a psychic. You are not a predictor of the future. You are a risk manager. Your job isn't to be right. It's to manage risk when you're wrong. I mean, this really gets to the heart of the daily battle every trader faces, right? It's your ego versus your account balance. Your ego is screaming to be right, but your capital just wants to survive and grow. This is your daily reminder of which one actually matters. When the trade is invalidated, you get out, no questions asked. And this one is so powerful because it completely reframes what it means to do nothing. Being in cash isn't missing out,
It's a strategic position. Waiting isn't being lazy, it's a strategy. And just staring at the charts, that creates this false urgency that just makes you weaker. All right, to pull this all together into something you can actually use, here's a 90-second checklist. You have to run through this before every single trade. It forces you to pause and ask yourself, especially that last question, am I taking this trade because it's part of my plan, or is it just because I've been staring at the screen for an hour and feel like I need to do something?
And here's the tool that really locks in the habit, your daily summary card. Think of it like a daily contract with yourself. Before the market opens, you state your intentions. After it closes, you do a review. And notice something. None of the questions are about your P&L. They're all about whether you followed your process. That's the only thing that matters.
So, when you put all of this together, the protocols, the rituals, what's the end goal? It's all about making that fundamental shift toward the professional's mindset. It's about moving away from the emotional chaos of volatility and into the calm, quiet confidence of stability. And you can never, ever forget what's at stake here. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Weeks of hard work, of disciplined, careful trading, all of it can be vaporized in a single moment of weakness. Your goal has to be to make the fear of breaking your rules way, way bigger than your fear of taking a small planned loss. So, that really leaves us with the one question that matters most. This isn't about whether the system works, it's about whether you will work the system. If you commit right now to enforcing these rules strictly, no exceptions, for the next 30 days, are you actually going to do it? Or is that little voice in your head going to start negotiating for an exception? The answer to that question, well, that's going to define your entire future as a trader.